What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I am really excited because I was able to go to an early premiere screening for my most anticipated movie of this year, Dune Part 2. And check it out, I got this really cool small IMAX poster for the movie. Everyone who purchased tickets to the premiere event got one of these little posters. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to get this, but I decided after I saw the movie at the very last minute, I wanted to get that popcorn bucket with the sandworm in it that everyone was like showing off on TikTok and talking about. I mean, I think this looks pretty cool. I originally wasn't going to get this, but then I was like, you know what? I really like the movie. I feel like I'm going to regret not getting this. It's kind of cool looking, so I'm glad I got it. Dune Part 2 is once again directed by Denis Villeneuve, who also directed the first film back in 2021, and this film picks up exactly where the first film left off. We follow Paul, played by Timothée Chalamet, who unites with the Freemen and also is on a path of revenge for the people who destroyed his entire family. And that's all I'm going to say about the plot, because I do not want to spoil anything that happens in this movie. I don't want to ruin it for anyone who didn't go to the premiere event, and for anyone out there who is probably going to take some time to see the movie once it comes out. I don't want to risk spoiling anything in this movie. I absolutely loved the first movie. It's like sci-fi at its finest, in my opinion. Denis Villeneuve, he knows how to direct sci-fi, and the first film gave me everything I was hoping for a part one of this incredibly complex book. Let's just say that. I haven't read the book, but I know a little bit about how the book is to understand that this is a massive story, and to adapt it has not been easy before. There's of course the original film from 1984 from David Lynch, who tried to cram the entire book into one 2-hour movie. Still haven't watched this yet, but I've heard a lot of mixed things, a lot of bad mixed things about this movie. There was also a mini-series simply called Dune, as well as a sequel series to that called Children of Dune. So there have been adaptations of the Dune books before, but one can argue not a really proper, satisfying adaptation. That is until Denis Villeneuve came along and did the first Dune movie, and now he's doing a part 2 to that first movie. And Denis Villeneuve has always been one of my favorite directors working today. In fact, one of my favorite directors of all time. When people ask me, who's your favorite director, I usually don't know what to say because I have a lot of favorite directors. But Denis Villeneuve has always been very close to the top. However, in this case, now that I've seen Dune Part 2, I think I am giving him that #1 spot because, wow, did he just annihilate it out of the park with Dune Part 2. Is that even a phrase? Annihilate it out of the park? I mean, I know there's hitting it out of the park, but annihilating it out of the... I don't know if that's a term, but that's the term I'm going to use, because this movie was satisfying, epic, action-packed. It gave me everything I was hoping that this movie would do, and then some. Starting off right off the bat with the performances are all incredibly strong in this movie. Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya probably have the best chemistry together. Their relationship, I think, works really well. I liked what they did with them. Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, Christopher Walken in this movie, Florence Pugh, she's in this movie, Austin Butler, which I forgot was in this movie. All of them are fantastic. They all give amazing performances, and that's because Denis Villeneuve knows how to direct actors, and he knows what kind of vision that he wants to display on the screen, and he absolutely delivered it. And with the visual effects, they're beyond breathtaking. I loved how every single frame of this movie looked. There's something visually stunning to look at with basically every frame of this movie, whether it's a big wide shot of the landscape or something that the characters are doing close up. Even like the costume work is just like stunning to look at. I loved how this film was crafted together. I loved how the effects looked in this movie. It's seamless. It is absolutely seamless. With visual effects like this, I always say to myself, sure, not every movie has the budget that, you know, this movie would have, but when you can achieve amazing visual effects like this, it's like I say to myself, there is no excuse now for bad visual CGI effects. Marvel, take note. Marvel has been very off and on with their visual effects lately. This movie, it's absolutely seamless, and it's just jaw-dropping to look at. The action in the film is well directed, well choreographed. There's a fight scene. I'm not going to say who's involved with the fight scene, because like I said, I'm trying to spoil as little as possible. I'll say it's a fight scene towards the end of the movie that had me like worried. It had me stressed and worried because I was not sure what the outcome of it was going to be. I was actually like squeezing my girlfriend's arm while we were watching it because I was just like, ugh, I don't know what's going to happen with this fight. And that just goes to show how well filmed, well choreographed, and well put together overall this movie was. I also liked what they did with this movie story-wise. Again, I'm not gonna go into detail because I'm afraid I'm just gonna accidentally blurt something out spoiler-wise, but what they did story-wise with this movie, I really, really liked. I think it was the best direction to go for, and it made you want to see more from this world. And, you know, there's quite a few Dune books out there. There's a lot of Dune books out there, to my knowledge. And I know Denis Villeneuve, he said that he isn't probably going to do all the Dune books, which kind of disappoints me, but I understand it. But I'm curious to see, like, where they're going to go next with this story, with this world. I'm curious to see what the next book is going to be. I'm curious to see if Denis Villeneuve's not going to direct it, then who's going to direct it. And that just speaks to how well crafted, again, the story was in the movie. In this movie, like I said, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, which is a good thing. But I really, really liked how they executed it. I know this review is coming off a little vague, but again, I'm trying so hard not to spoil things in this movie. I've gotten quite a bit of friends that saw that I went to the premiere screening, and they were all like, please do not spoil it. And I'm like, trust me, I'm not going to spoil it. But I really, over the past couple days, I was really trying to figure out how am I going to review the movie. I'm just going to have to be like really vague about it and like just mention like little things here and there, talking about like the overall movie itself instead of getting into story details and character developments and stuff like that, because I think you guys would prefer that. You don't want to know all the spoiler stuff that happens, and I know I didn't going into the movie, but hopefully that makes you excited to see the movie more. I know it did for me. I only saw one of the main trailers and a couple TV spots here and there, but I really did not know what they were going to do with the story, and a lot of it surprised me. A lot of it really surprised me, kept me on the edge of my seat. I was never bored for a minute. It's a long runtime. This movie is like 2 hours and 50 minutes. It's a beefy runtime, and I was not bored for a single second while watching this movie. There's always something to look at and admire and enjoy in the movie, whether it's an action scene, whether it's character dialogue. All the character dialogue is so riveting. It's not like Star Wars prequel boring political talk, you know, that kind of stuff that just bores the hell out of me. It's all riveting dialogue with terrific performances, or if it's even just like a landscape to look at, a wide shot of the desert. There's always something that's keeping your attention in this movie. And again, that just shows how wonderfully crafted this movie was. And I cannot be happier with how this movie went. If for some reason you weren't a fan of the first movie because it was an incomplete story, still give this movie a chance. It does do more to advance the story and to advance like what happened in the first movie, and it's got good payoff in my opinion. It really, really does. I'm really, really excited and curious to see what they're going to do next. I'm just like, give me more. If you're gonna make the movies this good, then give me more. I want to see like 20 Dune movies. I feel like they found the right path and the right direction on how to properly adapt this world and this first book to the big screen. And I'm just completely satisfied with how this movie went. It did not disappoint even in the slightest. So Dune Part 2 is Oscar worthy 100%. It did everything well. It earns it. It earns every little bit of it. And it's definitely worthy of a 5-star rating. Kind of cool, isn't it? My girlfriend got this for me, and I was like, yeah, I can use this in my videos for something. I've always wanted one of these little things. A little cheesy, but I think it's pretty cool. So guys, that is my spoiler-free review for Dune Part 2. If you've seen the movie already, then let me know in the comment section below what you thought of it. If you haven't seen the movie, then let me know how excited you are, if you're excited to see the movie. Whatever your thoughts on everything is, let me know in the comment section below. And just like always, guys, thank you again so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. I left a link down in the description box below because I started a new Instagram page where I am creating custom movie posters. It's something that I just decided to do just out of nowhere, I made a couple of them and I kind of had fun doing it, so I made a bunch more. Put them up on a brand new Instagram. It's called Custom Movie Posters. I put a link for it down in the description box below. Give it a follow if that's something you're interested in. It's just something fun for me to do. I had fun making them, and I'm going to continue making them. So your support is definitely appreciated. Again, thank you guys, as always, for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and share it. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, take care.